What's up, everyone? I'm Mike. I'm back with another Speargun review. This is a really cool one. This is a personal gun of mine I've actually had for some time now. I think I've had it for, I think, 3 seasons now. So I've gotten tons of pool testing and real world, blue water hunting use out of it. I like the gun a lot, and it shows some wear and tear, because I've abused it a little bit. This is the Joint out of Tahiti. I believe his name is Francisco. Awesome dude to work with. He's very very reachable. When I had some issues with accuracy with the gun when I first received it, and it was very easy to reach him, and we figured out the problem really quickly. Basically, it wasn't a problem with the gun. Part of the. It's a cool part of the feature of the gun, which I'll cover here in just a second. But this particular one is the VAU X. So this one right here is set up with an 8.5 millimeter shaft. I had them send it with 2 shafts, threaded, rigged with slip tips, and that's what I'm going to cover in a little bit. It's a challenge to rig rollers in general, especially inverters, with a slip tip. But this gun, I had him do the engravings on it without any epoxy fill. So if I had to go back and do it again, personally, I think I would go back and do the epoxy fill. I think the engravings would just would look a little bit cleaner and a little bit more refined if I did that. So, but this gun is very very substantial. A lot of teak here. You can see, and that you can very plainly see in here where they've sandwiched carbons in between a lot of these laminates. This gun is set up and equipped with the tried and true amazing Hermes double roller trigger mechanism. Just beautiful, buttery for life. The line guide here on the side is a carbon plate I think he makes, and it's been put into the body of the spear gun very nicely. I've never had any issues with this coming loose or anything. It's in a smart location. It's out of the way. It doesn't move, run your line too close to the band. Still keeps it away off the top of the gun and everything. I like that location a lot. It's very well thought out. The handle on this gun, I had them do the right hand thumb swell style grip, and this is on a wood gun. This is probably the best thumb swell custom grip I've come across. This is really substantial. You got a lot of room to lay your thumb on top. I think it's not essential in these guns because there's not an insane amount of recoil, just because of the fact that it's an inverted roller. But it is nice, and it does help keep your shots consistent. One shot to the next. This grip, and he is recessing this very very high, and it's also helped a lot too by the fact that he's using this top mounted double roller trigger mechanism. So he's able to get your hand and these guns really really close to the plane of the shaft, which is really really nice. We'll move forward here, just up the body. This thing is equipped with a set of direct pretension bands. I believe those are 20 millimeter pretension bands, and then 3 pairs of 18 millimeter direct load bands. The load location for all the bands is smart. It's very accurately, very well placed. So whenever this thing is loaded, these all lay very very cleanly right next to each other. That's dialed in and refined very well. He's got a metal trigger guard here, which has holes to accept a reel. I never put a reel on this. This is a blue water gun for me, but I suppose if somebody wanted to, you could. He's using this carbon block up here for all the bands. Pretty easy if you need to remove bands. You have to unload them, but pretty easy to use a little Allen key to go ahead and remove each individual one, and you can replace them very easily. I'll move up forward here, and you got a ballast pocket here with a carbon plate over it, and these have been basically custom ballasted by them for your setup. So I don't know that this is replaceable or adjustable at all. It's just been done by them for you. I haven't opened that or tried to mess with that at all, but I wouldn't. You have this in these inverted guns, it's very important. And this one's nicely placed and everything like that. You have this, basically this little bridge that elevates your line, your rigging line, so to keep everything in line, you know, so you're not having a bunch of parasitic drag pulling the bands, rubbing them on everything. So everything is pulling in a straight line, no rubbing or anything like that. And this is a little piece of carbon as well that they placed. The how he is stopping, every inverter roller is a little bit different on how they achieve it, right? But so how he is stopping your wishbone at the muzzle, he's using the style where you have two loops that go through the bottom, and these little muzzle ferrules, they're metal, in place inside the wood, and so they go from the bottom up to the top. There's loops, and they basically catch big knots on your wishbones and stop it right there. This has worked very well for me, no issues, but it is, if you're replacing them, it can be a little tricky to get them the right length so that you don't have too big of an opening in those loops where those knots can potentially pull through. And that can happen sometimes with this style. It's just one of the drawbacks of that method of stopping your wishbone, your rigging line. But the benefits of it is they don't come over your muzzle. You don't have to slam hard into like a bar or dig into like the wood or anything like that. So, you know, there's pros and cons to that. And getting back to the first thing I mentioned about the issue with, you know, accuracy that I first had with this gun, it's actually from a cool feature, and a cool way he's achieved, you know, rigging a slip tip on this. Slip tips, and just a pain in the butt with rollers in general, you know, keeping them secured, keeping them accurate, you know, on here. So what he has done, I'll unload this shaft, is he's actually recessed the wood and the muzzle to accept the slide ring, the adapter, and part of the slip tip itself, so that it lays flat in there and it's all supported and cradled, and stays in place. So I'll go ahead and load this in here and wrap it. Bear with me. So you take this, and he has it set so the barb is basically going down perfectly. So it sets perfectly flush in there in that recess. And then your shooting line is going to go around that pin, do a circle, and wrap over and bind that slip tip in place onto that Spectra. Another nice feature on this gun, what I like how he did was how he shaped the muzzle. So he has this pin here, you know, to guide the shooting line down along the side of the body. And he also, you know, just kind of recessed it out on either side of that too, so your shooting line lays cleanly in there. Go ahead and wrap this, clean this up. And you can see it just lays cleanly down into those channels. Now the issue that I had originally was that he didn't know, he wasn't told that the manufacturer of the slip tip changed the dimensions of that adapter on him. So he set this up and it was all set up perfectly for one shaft. I was test firing the other one that, unbeknownst to any of us, had slightly different geometries and it wasn't sitting in there perfectly. So it was throwing the shafts off. So once I figured it out and I started using the correct one, it was beautiful. It was spot on. So this is probably the smartest, best solution I've seen yet in any roller, to being able to achieve use a slip tip on the gun and achieve the amount of kind of accuracy that we expect. So very well done, beautiful gun. It's definitely, you know, if you're not shooting it, it's an amazing piece of art and a wall hanger as well. But luckily this gun shoots as well as it looks, and it's gotten a lot of use, and I plan on using it a lot more in the future too. If you have any more questions, or if you want more close-ups or anything like that, feel free to give me a call, shoot us a message, or just, you know, hit up Joints directly. They're, like I said before, they're great, they're easy to deal with. Enjoy.